Hello, hello. Welcome back to Wheel of Games. Today we're going to start playing Airborne Kingdom. Haha. This one won the poll for game to play next. So, this game I've played a fair amount of before. Probably at least half of the game, but I know I definitely haven't played, say, any of the DLC or extra stuff, so I know there's stuff I haven't seen before in here. We're also getting ready to do a follow-up game to it, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So, without saying the things that I remember, I think there's a starting cinematic that should give us... Well, since I've already got save data... Yeah, just larger, more randomized. I mean, that sounds good. Oh, right, if you're doing New Game Plus... Unlimited vision? No thanks. Maybe I'll take some efficiency boosts. And yeah, if I've played before, gotta go with hard. And here we go.
In a bygone age, a kingdom existed like no other. This kingdom did not anchor its power. This kingdom took to the skies. The Airborne Kingdom traveled to every kingdom on the ground, sharing knowledge, culture, and tradition. Its great council guided the lands through a golden age. Yet, long before even our elders can remember, the Airborne Kingdom vanished. The people sought to continue their harmony, but self-interest began to overrule. The land's 3 regions slowly isolated. Trade, travel, connections all unwound. Kingdoms contracted, and small settlements nearby were nearly wiped away. Bygone times turned to legend. But in the tapestry, we found instructions. A blueprint to remake the technology of the ancients. A prophecy to restore the Airborne Kingdom. There was but one belief we had wrong that day, though it proved vital. For such a finding was no chance at all.
Here we go. All our painstaking efforts have succeeded. Our home flies. Yet, this is only the beginning. To rebuild the ancient vision, we need to find every kingdom and befriend them as common allies. We also need inhabitants to form our great council in this new empire. We should start with the kingdom of Bruchla, not far from us, and the only kingdom we know. But first, we must build houses and find supplies. Okay, so I paused it right away. So, at the top of the screen is basically all of our status. So our people are currently satisfied. As we, I guess, go up in complexity, they're going to have greater requirements for us. And so we have to keep people happy. Right now we have only 9 inhabitants in our city, and nobody has any housing. And then we have status indicators, so yep, we need food, and pretty much everything is just calculated in terms of how much per hour is in minus how much per hour is going out. So right now we have no food coming in, or no food stored, and we've got a slow drain on it. Same thing for water. Now, our lift, naturally, our city has to remain buoyant. Music's, I think, a bit loud. There, turned it down a couple of settings. The music is very nice and relaxing, though. So, our lift. We have all of these various fans and stuff that are providing us lift. Right now, we just have this sort of main boat section. And this is the core of the Airborne Empire. I guess the palace. We chose the Great Library from having New Game Plus as an option. Oh, there's some numbers and stuff. We'll figure out what that means in a moment. But lift. We need to at least be generating enough lift to keep us in the air or we sink. And that's not good. Yep. And it gives a breakdown. Once we add more fans and whatnot that are giving us lift, it'll all show up in this. Now, it says no tilt issues. So just as an example, if you start putting stuff on there, you can see that it starts pulling the balance of your empire towards, say, the back or the front. And let's see if I can get something bigger, like a hanger. So the further out I would put it, the more it's pulling it to that side. It's assuming that everything's connected by platforms, but it's essentially a big balancing mechanic. You need to make sure that your empire doesn't tilt too much, or it will produce some speed drag. So that'll slow you down. I'm not sure if there's other consequences. I don't remember everything about the game. Likewise, we've got speed. So, yep, we've got a little fan that's actually pushing us forward, in addition to the ones keeping us up. So we can also build propulsion devices. Let's see, right now we have very, very limited things that we can build. We haven't researched anything, so there's research mechanics here. Right now, all we can build are paths, which allow our little people to walk around. Yep. And let's see if I let them work. Oh, yeah, there's our little inhabitants coming out to build. Yep. And then they build all the things. Let's see, some of them have costs associated with them, so the paths, they weigh a tiny amount, they're very light, so it takes a small amount of our lift to put these paths in place. Something as big as the hangar requires other materials, so 10 of these. So now we get into what's on the right half of this display. Well, it looks like coal is basically our powering system here, so while at the same time we're using wind power, we're also using coal power, not 100% green here, but given we're the only thing in the sky, I guess it's not so bad. Well, less than all these pretty birds. So we're consuming coal. Again, it's consumed each hour, and the more fans we build out, the more coal we're going to use. And so we need to find ways to replenish this coal. And then other resources, we've got wood, adobe, so bricks, and you can see that there's a sort of production chain. We're basically going to be harvesting clay, which is like those mud buckets, and we have to fire it into the adobe bricks for use in construction. Then iron, glass, canvas, which it looks like we're getting some sort of plant-based thing, and we harvest that into canvas. And I guess that's some quartz, maybe, that we would refine into the glass. And so, let's see, our resource storages. I'm not sure if we've got, oh well, limit 32 out of 100. So we're starting the game with 22 lumber and, yeah, it must be, yeah, over on the right side, 10 bricks. So it's giving us exactly enough that we would need to produce a hangar. And the hangars are basically the most important thing in this game besides the main the main core of the tower. So these hangars, you can see they've got that sort of launching platform on the back. These things, you launch sort of little biplanes that go out and harvest materials from the world below. So now when we look at the world around us, which is also very pretty. Let's see. So you can see that, oh, there's a forest. So we can dispatch our planes down here, and we can say how many to use. I don't have any yet, but once I do, you can dispatch planes, and they will fly down, harvest, and come back up and deposit them in the hangars. And well, let's see. Yeah, you don't, unless you have that one thing, you don't have unlimited vision. You can't go off into the infinite distance. But you can see we've got quartz, and so that would allow us to get the raw materials for glass. You can see there's a lot of lumber in this starting area. Ah, coal deposit. You need coal to keep yourself afloat. Let's see. Ah, that's what a clay deposit looks like. So we would need to get that for more bricks, for more hangers, which seems important. Let's see, I don't think there's any iron in this starting area. Oh, neat. You can see the edges of the map actually like curl up like a frayed canvas. Let's see. Down at the bottom, so I looked at the build menu. There's different tabs. So you can have different silos for, say, food or warehouses or water. Other stuff we simply have not researched yet. We need an academy to actually do research. So let's... Oh. I wanted to see how many... Okay, the hangars themselves don't look like they specifically employ people, but the academy, you have to assign people, and then they're doing research, and that would unlock our research tree, which we can't look at yet, but that'll show how we can get research. And the map. So this is everything we can see so far. That's our current location, and these are sort of the land masses. And this also gives us our, let's see, our objectives, everything we've discovered. As we move around the map and find more things, maybe meet people and they give us requests to perform, they'll show up in here. So we've got this tapestry. We must remake the Airborne Kingdom. And basically the goal of this game is to travel the map, make friends, and link everything back together. So we have, I guess we need to get at least 150 population, and we must make all 12 allies in order to remake the kingdom. So you saw in the opening cinematic, there were these sort of 3 big regions, and each one of them had these 4 symbols. Each one of them corresponds to a major population center of some type that we need to ally with. So basically, go find them, do what they ask of you, make friends, and reconnect the ancient world that used to exist before the old Airborne Empire disappeared. So we're essentially the flying link that joins everything else in the world together. And seemingly without an Airborne Empire, everyone just sort of became insular again and disconnected. So we have to link it all back up. So our starting quest is really just get the minimum stuff up together, make sure that you've got a city that can self-sustain by can harvest enough stuff. And let's see, oh, there's actually some stuff behind us to look at. Ooh, ruins. Ruins to explore. Resources to find. Settlements. Neat. And whatever that thing is. But yeah, thankfully everything you can interact with, you can highlight, and it tells you pretty readily what to do. So the first thing, like the first step of this game, is to figure out how you want to plan out your city. Because I've noticed that there's really a huge difference in a pre-laid out city versus one that you just sort of put things together. Because something that I've definitely noticed that the game doesn't tell you at the beginning. I know when I first played this, I restarted a couple times because I realized how the mechanics worked. So you see our little airborne people walking around as they were just building up all the path. And we've got 9. The bigger the city gets, we'll have more people walking around. But they actually need these paths to walk on. And that's because they're actually going to be delivering resources, like, say, from the hangars to the different warehouses, or from the storage to the smelters. You actually have to worry about the logistical travel for these people to get where they need to go. And so, as we're planning everything out, once we've got, say, all these warehouses, we need to make sure that the number one thing is the hangars, where we've got all of these pilots coming in. We need them to be able to drop off resources as fast as possible and then get back out. Because well, we're burning coal all the time, except when we're paused, of course, but we want to be able to harvest as much as we can, hopefully without even having to stop. We can just harvest everything as we fly by. We might have to wait till the end of the game until we're that efficient, but the goal is to be able to do as much gathering as we possibly can, and that means having hangars near warehouses. Now, before we have any warehouses, our storage is basically, let's see, yeah, producing 50 lift. Well, it has that initial 100 storage space that it's not telling us that it gives us, but that's where it's coming from. Oops. Oh, hey, I right-clicked on the map. That's... I forgot how this part worked. But that is basically our current destination. Now that I've marked it, hey, we start moving there. Oops, that was right-click. Just right hold and drag. Gets you the nice vision around. And I'm just looking at a top-down view so I can see a little bit easier. So, with the idea of having everything streamlined as much as possible to get hangars to warehouses as fast as possible, I know in the past that I've done a, just like all of the, when I first saw, oh, all the people are running into the, like taking the resources from the hangars to the center thing. Okay, I'm going to just put, click it again. I'm just going to put all my hangars right in the center and just pointing out. And in theory, that works perfectly fine. Let's see, one thing I can't remember is if you can have buildings directly on the opposite side of the launch platform. It looks like it's got this nice ramp so that it's launching the airplanes up, and then they'll go around the outside of the city and then go down. So I might be able to simply build other things right on the other side. But there is that obvious door that people are going to be going in and out of that has to be connected to a path. So that's an essential thing. So really what I want is a district that's going to be handling all these resources. So if I have it like... I guess I need to make some paths first. You can also just freely like cancel the construction of these things. Yeah, no workers available yet. I mean, yeah, selling isn't really a thing. So I can put those in place, and then I can, let's see, rotate. There we go. So I could have all of the hangars sort of pointing back, and then I can have, say, warehouses, and then once I get into those refining buildings, like the kilns that are going to turn the clay into the bricks, I want those essentially on the other side of the warehouses, still with easy access. So basically plan out a bunch of paths. You can see it start to sort of sag towards the back. And you can see, oh, 94% of our possible speed. So, yeah, because of the drag on the buildings. Okay, well, there is drag in here. I suppose if you had enough of a tilt, let me just put a whole bunch on one side here. Let's make some tilt issues. Yeah, but still showing no tilt issues, because these things aren't... Yeah, you know what? These things are very light. Housing, I could put down 4 houses. Okay, now it says heavy tilt, right? Okay, 3 degrees right. Come on. Okay, so now it says heavy tilt at least. 4 degrees to the right. And so it shows up over here. Uh-oh. We've got an issue. And you can see that it's drastically reduced our speed. So having tilt also reduces speed in addition to just straight having more stuff. Maybe there is an aspect of having a wide angle that produces drag. Good to know. Now how do I remove all these things easily? Uh-oh. Oh, there's a button to simply stop. Yep, and that gets rid of your current. Center camera. Oh boy. I think I'm going to have to destroy these things one by one. Not so much for my example there. But I think I'm going to just lay out the camera, or lay out the city off camera. That way you don't have to listen to me explaining stuff. And then I can just go over why I did what I did afterwards. So I'll pause and be back. Well, I actually managed to crash the game. I accidentally loaded in my old save file, so I'm going to have to make the game straight again. But that actually gives me one thing that I can show off. I simply skip the intro here. Yep, this is only the beginning. Get our main quest back again. Let's begin. So the thing that's different is the map is completely freshly generated every time, which is why I don't know anything that's really going to be happening in the map. There's still sort of the same settlements in the same region, but where they are and where all the resources are and all these individual little bits are completely different every game. So now I simply have no idea where anything else is. Yep, I figured it'd be easier to start over than individually delete all of those individual paths. I'm sure there's a faster way to demolish them. I forgot what the key was. I'm gonna have to relook over the bindings. But the new game also shows us an example of, hey, you can simply gather food. If you haven't researched farms yet, you can gather food and water straight from the ground. Also using those hangers. And yeah, we definitely need to check out that settlement. Okay, now I'll go build the skeleton of a city and be right back. Okay, so we're back. Yep, I had built up a whole bunch more in terms of paths for planning, and then I remembered that there isn't really a construction priority for for the workers. I can't tell them, hey, by the way, build the hangar first instead of this massive real estate of paths that I've put down. So that's something you have to watch out for. And then I realized, oh, okay, you can bulk remove buildings, so that made life much easier. So I've just put down the beginnings of a housing block back here, and I've got the first hangar pointed forward. I'm thinking that if the airplanes are sort of launching towards us, that might look neater visually, and so I've got the hangar pointing forward, and we're going to have our resource and building kind of operations on the front side, and the houses, I don't think people need to run over there to sleep, but I am planning to have wide boulevards and stuff for people to walk through. They don't really need multiple spaces, like a multiple wide road to get down. They can all walk through each other. But I also think it's just going to look prettier to have these nice wide boulevards. I remember that at some point you can get gardens that are going to make people happier. So I'm leaving myself a lot of space right near sort of the capital to beautify things as we go. So let's unpause and get started. I think I may as well just point us towards this forest. We're going to need a lot of trees for wood for building this. Let's see. Okay. If I hit the center camera, it follows along. And we reached our destination, so we'll slowly stop. Well, that's a kingdom, but that's something that's big enough. That's probably the first of the allies we need to look for. Oh, and while we've been watching, hey, our hangar's coming into a place, and it exists. Uh-oh, they're walking over space. But I think that's because they're on their way to build the rest of the things. Well, building these paths is actually pretty fast, so thankfully it's not taking too long, but I still didn't want them to waste their time building paths that weren't critical. So now we've got our hangar. Contains 7 aircraft used by workers to gather crew. Oh, and you can customize the appearance too. So when you say change hangar, oh, I can get the one with palm trees, or let's see, are those? I guess that's no, it is Christmas themed. It's got a Halloween themed, and perhaps the basic one. And one of the things that you find around the world are just customization things. It doesn't cost any in-game money or anything. You just find new cosmetic things to deck your city out. Yep, so that's new. So now we have planes. Oh, it doesn't say anything in there. But if I do here, let's see, get about 2 per trip. So I put this up to +5. We've got 9 people. Does that mean... okay, that's how many aircraft I'm assigning to it. What's that going to do to our people? They immediately turned around. They're heading towards it. So it looks like we've got one person still building down there. Everyone else just ran to a plane. No, there they go. Oh, they're launching from below? But they have that ramp. Maybe the ramp is how they return. So we can see them going down. Each one of those balloons corresponds to a plane that we've dispatched down below. Oh, and there they go. Okay, that's how they fly back in. And maybe when they leave... Oh, is that like just a chute and they just fall out? Yeah. This is an example. He's taking the lumber, and then they have to... So yeah, they have to reach the warehouse, then they have to come back. Watch them enter there. And then, poof, down they go. So they shoot out the bottom. And that's how they return, as they land in there. Yeah, and they go down. So now you can see we've been getting more wood, and the net is plus from the forest. And it looks like they've built this first block of houses. So the houses automatically rearrange themselves into like 2x2 blocks, and that block only has to have a single house sort of connected to the path itself. So if I were to make another one, let's see. Yeah, it only has to even be like halfway onto the path. So as long as any part of that block is connected to the path, you can make the extra housing. And that is the most super duper basic version of how the game works. You send people down, they collect resources, you use the resources to build. But you have these lift constraints. We currently don't have any other buildings to give us lift or propulsion, so we're slow. We need to get a whole bunch of wood and more people. People are also currently a limiting factor. If I've sent 7 down to collect, then I've only got 2 workers on the actual, calling it a rig, the floating platform in the kingdom to build and potentially work other production locations. Okay, so that's the most basic aspect. Let's see, I like to just set them to build while I'm paused. You don't have to do that by any stretch of the imagination. Get those workers building more paths. Yep, naturally symmetry is a thing that can help. But because I need more bricks, I'm not going to be able to build another hangar until I start harvesting clay and processing it. Yep, we don't all have homes yet, this is true. Let's see, our starting base is 5 wide and 7 long. So you can see that the hangar is 1 longer than our base. The hangars are 8 long. So it makes it difficult when you've got things that have like even numbers to try to get everything into perfect symmetry. You don't have to worry about perfect symmetry, it's just a thing. Now, something that I'm now remembering is, while it's easy to simply create blocks, like, oh, I've got a 2x2, let me put another 2x2, another 2x2, and so on. But later in the game, you're going to have service buildings. So if you've played city management games like Caesar or Pharaoh or something like that, it's like, yeah, when I have to have these service buildings, it starts messing up my nice clean blocks of other buildings. And they also have to have path access as well. So I don't want to make anything that's too terribly dense. I'm not even sure what I want to put here, but I'm leaving this sort of 4 wide block between sort of the city center and where I start doing the city inhabitant stuff. So I may put another housing block here and have the sort of inner road down even further. I am tilting myself a good bit towards the back, which is something to definitely watch out for. So I can have either an alley, oops, wrong button, either an alley going down the side here with houses on both sides. That would maybe allow me to put a service building in the middle, maybe relocate some houses later. If I simply have everything off of a single spine, then I'm going to have a really, really long empire. What's the best way to do that? Yeah, the nicest thing is these paths, because they require 1/100th of a lift point, whereas say, like you could have 50 paths to one house. So just having these extra paths spacing things out isn't really hurting us. Maybe I'm planning for just a colossally huge eventual city. But it doesn't hurt to pad out your buildings, at least in the beginning. So if I made myself, say, like a 2-wide path here, then if I have something like, I don't know, a street light or like a little shrine that's just one long, then I can have, you know, this road sort of pinch itself on one side or the other as needed. I think 3-wide would be too large, but if I have it 2-wide, then I can just, you know, like put something in any one space, and it's not going to mess up my layout. So if I can simply do a little bit of padding here, oops, I keep right-clicking when I'm really just trying to move the camera just a little bit. And the houses as well, you can rotate, switch between the different styles. In case you really like one type of house and you want all the houses to look that way, you could do it if you wanted. And make them all very, very similar looking blocks. A lot of customization if you want to go that deep. Oh, I'm in front of the controls, so yeah. Like, you can rotate, you can switch between them, customize motifs. Oh yeah, the various different default... Oh yeah, you could just literally pick it, too. That's probably easier. If I want to have Christmas lights or something, you can do that. Yep. And yeah, all these different... Yeah, barons, that's the starting one, but you're just going to pick up more and more of these different customization options as you go. So I'd encourage you to just try different things out as you go. I tend to find something and sort of stick to it for a long time, maybe until I find something better. But yeah, this, at least initial one, is a little bit sort of washed out color-wise. I'm going to look for something colorful, a bold color. So we've got some paths building. I should just let it run. I'm not hurting for resources. So let's make a housing block sort of across the little side street from that one. And you can see just sort of they connect into each other in that 2x2 block. But if I made another one, yeah, I've got enough wood coming in that with one more, once that's complete, I'll have enough housing for all my inhabitants. Although it is starting to, oh, I've got heavy tilt towards the back. Yep, that's heavy tilt towards the back, alright. Thankfully, oh, mediocre. Yeah, the kingdom off balance also makes people unhappy. That is definitely true. Let's see, once I get some more resources, I think if I put some warehouses in the front, those things are heavy, that'll rebalance it back towards the front. But this will at least provide enough housing for what we need at the very, very beginning. That's good, they are at least prioritizing the non-path structures. And, you know, the paths to them, and then the non-paths. So that's good. Yeah, now they're making their way towards the other houses. No. But, no, build the houses. Okay, they wanted that extra one, too. And we're about to make that person happy. Oh, they give us a breakdown of what people are doing, too. That's useful. There we go, building. Aha. Okay. Yep, and you can see this used to be over 100, and you can see they've been chopping it down. You can sort of watch the resources disappear. But it also gives you a good overview of, like, well, what's left in here? Like, this tells you, well, there was that many chopped down, but there's still a whole bunch. This was a very large lumber... Deposit's not the right word, but, you know. Very large forest. Okay, let's try to deal with that tilt a little bit. I did remove a bunch of extra paths that I had sort of on the front, because I had this as a 2-wide panel in the front as well. And nope, still tilting to the back. I'll let them work on it. It won't pull forward for a little bit, but Yeah, that would have me a little unhappy, walking around on top of that. Oh, there they go. Yeah, if you just zoom out and just zen a little bit, it's just nice. And I wonder, am I close enough that I can... Ah. So you can divide your aircraft out into different spots. So you don't have to all go down to once. Now we've got 5 with lumber. We've got someone going for water and someone going for food. And there they go. And you can just move around as much as you like. There is like some kind of a maximum range. I don't think I can send them over to here. Yeah, too far. And I can just hit stop at any time, and I'll just sort of stop myself between the different deposits. Oh no, there goes all the planes. And this is just a very pleasant experience just to have on in the background. Oh, yep, 9 out of 10. Yeah, my 2 on the platform are starting to go idle. Now, I do have a bunch of resources here. Let's see. Gonna plan out... I wanted these to be paths too. Let's figure out where the warehouse is gonna go. So you want to take a look at the sizes. Like, the silo actually doesn't have an entrance. Maybe the silos, you don't have to bring the water physically to places. But always defaults to basics. The food storage is a 3x2, but the door is on the longer side. Actually, I think that's a 4. That's a 4x3, not a 3x2. It's bigger than I thought. So that's basically a market, I guess. People go there to get food. Does it say? No, it just says storage. Maybe people get the food automatically. I don't remember if they have to walk to it or not. But the warehouse, I'm pretty sure that people who are artisans have to go to the warehouse to go pick up their stuff. So I'm pretty sure that in addition to, like, sure, that would make it very fast for the hangar people to just drop off the stuff. But I actually want this facing to the side so that I can have artisans coming from the other side coming to pick things up just as easily. So I'm pretty much gonna... Different camera, right? This is the slide button. Okay. So I really just want to have like a line of hangars on each side that are just sending resources directly out the front. So I want a road for these people to go down. And I guess I want it sort of centered around here. So I'm going to have the warehouses facing away from the middle. And if I want it to be facing that way... Oops, come on. Facing that way, basically here. Basically here. Then... So I can just build out from that path. And now I can place a warehouse. Yay! Yep. Put the warehouses to the side, maybe put the food ones towards the middle. I'm not sure if anything needs to touch the food afterwards. But warehouse is here. So it's maybe not perfectly optimal for this first person, for this first hangar. But when I've got like 8 of them, it's a lot better. And with the warehouses, I don't think I need to worry about putting in, say, trees or shrines or something to keep people happy. So I can have these be much narrower streets. And so I could just put a warehouse straight on the other side, and the artisans and the delivery people can just walk down the narrower path. Because I don't think I need as much padding for this. I think maybe I'll still make the path too wide, because maybe I'm forgetting something, and maybe I'm going to want to put streetlights or something. I don't know why I keep saying streetlights. I have a specific memory of having streetlights, and maybe that's something I want even in the industrial areas. So, oh yeah, I've got a ton of wood in storage here. So now we're leaning a good bit to the right, because these are very heavy buildings I've been putting down. Yeah, the hangar is 2. Each one of those warehouses is as much as 6 houses. So now I can put things back towards the housing. So yeah, definitely I've been picking up way more wood than I strictly needed from that starting bit. Oh, Yeah. I mean, the main reason I paused is so I don't accidentally run out of coal, because I've just been rambling and building for a long time. And you can speed it up too. Let's see. I guess you can watch like the planes speed up when I put it into faster and then back to normal. You can go, oh, there's the control. Faster and fastest and paused. Okay. So yeah, the wood stuff is what we needed for these most basic of buildings. And let's see, I'll just put 2 complete housing blocks. So I've got sort of a diagonal thing. I don't really have to worry about... Boy, that's putting a lot of stress on these platforms right in the middle. There's no tensile integrity kind of constraints to worry about. But yeah, my 2 people who are doing all the construction are working real hard right now. But let's see. Let's see, does it say exactly how much storage it's going to give us? Increases storage. Okay, so it's up to 125. So each warehouse is going to give us 25 more storage for any resource. You have to sort of watch on your own to make sure you don't fill it up with something you don't need. But you can dump resources if you really need to. So you can just pitch things over the side at any time. No worry about trash below again. And yeah, I guess everything that's not one of these sort of raised pieces of land is just barren, desolate wasteland or something. And that's why the other people don't want to cross over it. Oh yeah, we've completely maxed out our food, haven't been watching that. But clearly we had way more than that one than what we needed. Let's put the extra person on water. Clearly we're doing more than well enough on that. So let's start pulling up some of those other ones and move over to optimize a little bit. Okay. Let's see. So I think at this point, I think I've shown the basic, like, gameplay experience. Collect resources, build city, manage city, keep people happy. Let's see. Ah, yes, one more thing that I wanted to do is show what the interactions look like. We have found a small settlement. We near a squat clump of houses in the arid lands. Some may be tired of harsh work and may wish to join us for a change in their lives. For settlers in any age are known to be as hard as the land that they may walk across. From Tales of the Old Settlers. So, we seek migrants. We seek migrants to join our council. Some are curious, but they want assurance they're leaving for a happier home. So, this has to do with your happiness level. If your people are unhappy, why would other people want to join you? But because our people are currently at the highest level, jubilant, then we have found 3 new people to join. So, yep, yeah, they are requiring at least mediocre levels of happiness. And then satisfied. And jubilant gets us the 3rd person. So we have recruited. And if they had any other things for us to interact with the settlement, that would be it. So we have recruited 3 more people. Now we've got up to 12 workers. And so we can have the 7 people with the 1 hangar. But now we could say, let's see, do we have any clay yet? Well, we have clay incoming. So if we had those, we can't do any resource things until we have an academy, but we can build one. Let's see, this is... Oh, is this... Well, that exactly fits the space. Maybe that's what I want to put in there? Or I could simply put... Oh, neat, they've got these, let's see, observatory scopes there. Oh, that's cute. I could put it facing sideways. Maybe I have them sort of... If I put them on both sides, then I can have observatories pointing at each other. That could be funny. But yeah, I mean, that's something that I don't think I would regret putting that off to the side. Because it's also 4, I could sort of have them... You know, if I decide I need a lot of them for some reason, I could just put more. So let's just have one... Let's see, what's my balance like? We're a little bit towards the back. I could put them in the center. Maybe I just put them facing forward. Yeah, I think that works. Because then it's at least not looking into the back of our main building, like this one would be. Let's see, we're already pointed right, so I need to put it there. And there we go. Yeah, I think that's the last thing I'll show in video number 1 is what the research screen looks like, because that's also critical. Let's see, water's coming in. Yeah, we still have plenty of food. Yeah, once we have a lot of people, maybe food will be more of an issue. Oh! Ah, Academy is complete. We can start to research new technology, and that's how we take ground technology and adapt it for use in the skies. So what do we have? At the moment, not much. Oh, I see they're divided into different sections again. Because I see we've got this adobe kiln, and that's something that we desperately need to, because we need more bricks produced by the kiln in order to get more hangars, and that gets us more resources and building economy go. So I think that's super important. What do you say? Maybe that's just saying that's what we have selected. And you can also increase their efficiencies, and it's just a matter of time. You could just sit in one place and, well, you'd eventually exhaust the resources there. But, yeah. Oh, I didn't have it paused, so you could watch it go. But yeah, these first ones are also very fast, and then they take longer and longer times, which is reduced by the number of academies you have going. So let's see. Other ones, oh yeah, so basic stuff. Housing. Hey, how about more efficiency, less food required? And you can reduce it down to half, but that would take a lot of research. Oh, neat, you can stack them up to 2 or even 3 stories. Very efficient. I'm sure it would require more lift. And also reduce, so basically make them more efficient resource-wise. The houses need food and water. Makes perfect sense. The town center. Improve speed. Increase the coal storage. I wonder if coal storage is separate from the warehouse, or if it's only... Because that's storage for 30, and that doesn't seem to be with the resources. So maybe there's a maximum amount of coal you can store just in the building sector. So that's good to know. And then... okay, it looks like when you're redoing buildings, you can make it more efficient. So I guess you lose resources when moving stuff. Storage? Yep, increase the amount. Oh, stack them up. That's sweet. No extra footprint, just what, a 3-story warehouse? That'd be awesome. And yeah, it looks like all of those are simply making them more efficient. Lift. This is something we very much need, because right now we've got a hard limit, and we're coming up on it pretty fast, as to how much stuff we can have on this floating city. And we don't have any basis for research. We need to find ground blueprints. Oh, and desires. I assume this makes people happy. So at the moment, we only have very basic research stuff we can look into. I assume as we find more resources, maybe these will come open. And that is the very, very basics of Airborne Kingdom. So, if you just wanted to see what this game is about, without, say, watching the whole series, or just checking it out for yourself, I encourage it. It's just fun. There are so many different ways you can design your city. I'm certain that you'll want to play it again, like the New Game Plus option you saw earlier, simply to try different layouts, maybe optimize things. Once you've discovered different technologies, oh, maybe if I had, planned this way from the start, you can have a lot of fun just making this your own. So I encourage it. Obviously I like the game, and I'm looking forward to Airborne Empire when that comes out. And I think that's going to do it for the first episode. After this, maybe we'll get some more resources, start moving and exploring what else is around us. And check out the first big kingdom. Okay, so I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.